Hey, great Monday evening. Great Monday evening. Listen, Happy New Year from Chosen Pen Publishing to you and yours. I am Dr. Anissa Short, and I'm delighted once again to bring to you another awesome episode of Conversations with Chosen Pen. Listen, welcome to 2024, and thank you for all the ways in which you have supported us in the past. We look forward to more lively conversation in 2024, and this particular episode is going to kick it off. Listen, January is National Mentoring Month. And Chosen Pen Publishing has dedicated the entire month of January, all of the podcasts we're doing in this month, to focus on the importance of mentorship, whether it be mentoring children, professional mentorship, whether it be men mentoring boys, being mentored from a professional, spiritual, from every aspect of life, because we know it's relevant. Today, I have three distinguished gentlemen, maybe four, because I'm expecting more, but maybe four, three distinguished gentlemen to talk with us about the significance of mentorship. They have all been engaged in some capacity. They come from various states within the USA, and they are all going to be a part of a special event as well on January 19th and 20th. And let me go ahead and just tell you a little bit about that. Chosen Pen Publishing has partnered with Walk Upright Publishing to host Mentors Make Your Mark Conference. It's a 2-day experience, January 19th at 7 p.m., January 20th at 10 a.m. And this particular weekend is going to focus once again on the importance of mentorship. January 19th, which is that Friday night, will be the launch of a new Amazon bestseller. Yes, the Titus 2 Principle Reach, Teach, and Lead is a project that I facilitated, and two of these distinguished gentlemen are a part of that project. So we'll shed more light on that. That Friday night is going to be dedicated to the book signing. So if you have purchased a book, if you want to buy a book, or if you just want to come out and be nosy, we encourage you to do so. All right. And then on Saturday, the 20th, there will be a TEDx experience. We were going to continue the conversation about mentorship. We're going to have two panelists. Two panels, I should say. One of them will be women talking about the importance of professional mentorship. There'll be a group of phenomenal men man exchange, which is a panel where men are going to talk about the relevance and importance of men in the families, in the community, showing up and being there. And then our featured speaker is Mr. Stefan Ferguson, who's a local native here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. He is known in various pockets of the U.S. because he does a lot of work honoring the memory and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. And so he's going to be our keynote speaker. Saturday includes lunch. This entire weekend is a $35 investment. So if you want more information, and better yet, let me just go ahead and just put this up here, because I know everybody, everybody wants to be a part of this experience. And so here's the information where you can go ahead and register today. So without further ado, let's get to talking. Thank you, gentlemen. We have Coach Alfonso Short from Fayetteville, North Carolina. We have Mr. Nate Wissett from Detroit, Michigan. Is that right? All right. And then Wendell Fields all the way from Georgia, Atlanta. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for saying yes to this opportunity. Let's get started. Let's get started with the conversation. So let's talk a little bit about mentoring in and of itself. As men, you have lived life. We can kind of see from the salt and pepper experiences we've got going that you all have been around for a little longer than a few years. And I'm pretty sure you have personal experiences with mentorship, whether that be you had mentors in your life, or maybe you served in the role of being a mentor. If you would give us your honest perspective, or honest view of what the significance of what mentorship is. So Coach Short, let's start with you first.
Good evening to everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to be on the program. In my experience with mentorship and the importance of it is that I grew up, and a lot of my mentorship came through sports, coaching, academics, and participating in organizations in school, and having instructors to assist, and really parents and extended family to a degree. Sometimes we kind of ignore that or don't think about it, but even someone parenting you, your aunts, uncles, and everyone are also mentors to a degree. But my personal experience has been working with young people for quite some time, over 30 years of my life, and I'm 60 years old. And knowing that in order to make a difference in the life of someone, you have to be a part of their life. You have to be the difference. Uh, and you have to change the paradigm. Many times when we speak of mentorship, uh, we look at it as if we're in communities where children are at risk, and that's not always the case. We all, as young people, need mentors. Many times there are higher percentages, so you do have to look at the future of a young person, and you have to tap into them so that you can know what they want. One thing about mentoring, we can have potential that we see in people and what we think they should be, but we can only help young people if we listen to them and know the direction that they're trying to go in their lives.
Thank you, Coach Short. That was really good. So, Mr. Wissett, all the way from the cold city, the windy city, well, the windy area. Y'all got snow up there, I think, don't you? Coach,
We getting hit tomorrow.
tomorrow. Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about your perspective on mentorship. How has it influenced your life, and in what capacity do you participate?
Well, mentorship to me is actively engaging and understanding and learning from someone you may admire, someone that that you may spend time with, or just being around somebody who can help you along this journey of life. And it's just so important. And I sought that when I was younger, because coming from a single parent household, it was a challenge, but it was like, well, am I listening to my uncles, or am I listening to this person or that person who is helping me to grow and develop and learn from, and I know that now in life, and even then, people can teach you only two things really: what to do and what not to do. And so it was vitally important that I realized that early, so some of the things that I saw that I didn't like, I was like, no, I don't want to be involved in that, and so that mentorship expanded on and influenced me to a place to where I began to help other young men, and different individuals, along that path. I might not have all the answers, but what I know, and I just built from there. So, and encouraging others in that way. So now my ultimate goal is to educate, inspire, and uplift. So that's where we're at.
That's
And it's
great,
been
Coach.
over 30 some years. Yeah.
So you got some commonality with Coach Short. You guys have been at this thing 30 years plus. Now, tell me, aren't you an educator? Are you still
Mm-hmm.
in the arena of education, Coach in Wested?
Yes, yes. I'm currently teaching physical education. I started out as a second grade teacher, and down through the years, even I substitute taught for 8 years, just to make sure that it was something that I wanted to do. And so it just carried on from there. And so I've just been going, and hey, it's a different generation these days, but hey.
Well, thank you, as they say here in Fayetteville. Thank you for your service when they talk about the military, because you are definitely on the field. So we appreciate all that you've done and what you're currently doing. All right, Mr. Fields, coming all the way from the state of Georgia. Thank you again for joining us. Let's have you answer the question as well. What about mentorship for you, and how has that looked, and how does it look?
Well, let me say, Dr. Short, thank you so much for this opportunity to come before you all and just to share some ideas with you. I'm coming from a perspective of mental health, and so in this type of situation, I have grown men that don't know how to um, manage mental health symptoms, to even finding out where support and resources are. So in this, I've been in the mental health field now for over 30 years and have 16 plus years in crisis intervention. And in that, it's turned into a marvelous story um, um, pertaining to my life and how it's influential to help others to seek out mental health care, as well as break that stigma. And so, what I've done now is mentor men, sometimes older than me, sometimes a few years younger than me. And in that, y'all, it's been amazing to see the growth, to see the potential, to see the inspiration that is fired up in people's eyes, to see that they have skills and abilities and just something to give back to society. And when you're able to help that individual grow, it means the world to them. And guess what? It means the world to me too,
Right.
because it's nothing like seeing people grow into their best and have that potential to be their best. And ooh, God dog, as they say, it's something to just be marveled at and be humble with. And so I count it a privilege and honor. You know, it's amazing. That
Thank,
mentorship is amazing.
thank you for bringing your element, your different element. I know Coach Short worked in federal government for years, but he's always engaged in other activity like with Boys and Girls Club, the Parks and Recs, youth ministry, and wore various hats, but always gravitated to the young people. Coach Wissett, same thing, was been an educator and a phys ed coach, and now you're bringing another element with regards to working with adults mostly through mental health. And then we have Mr. Derek Garner, who just jumped on. I'm so glad he was able to connect with us. Mr. Garner lives here in the city of Fayetteville as well, and he's retired military. So, Mr. Garner, one of the questions I just asked the panel, and thank you for joining us tonight, is tell us a little bit about what mentorship means to you. What has that looked like in your past? And or if you are still engaged in that, what does that look like now?
Mentorship to me in my past was non-existent until I left New York. It was, well, here, let me rephrase that. You can get bad mentorship, you can get good mentorship. When I left New York, I had left bad mentorship. So most of the training I got was from the military and from reading a bunch of books. So now I can give good mentorship because of the training I had from the Marine Corps and what I read in books. So now I mentor all the time to people. And I try to give them the best that I can give to get the best version of themselves out in the marketplace so that we can actually grow leaders, because we're lacking leadership is all it is. And if we
Yeah.
plan to actually step up and be better leaders, then we can change the whole dynamics of what we're trying to do in our society.
That's good. That's good, Mr. Garner. I consider this is an honor to have all the four men on a panel. We've been doing this podcast now for several years, and we'll have a man here or there. We sprinkle them in every now and then. But to have four men bring a perspective, a fresh perspective with regards to a topic that's very important, because in light of what we've already mentioned, the children nowadays need mentorship. Definitely, even more so than ever. But not only that, there are a lot of adults that didn't get the mentorship that they probably could have used much earlier along, and they're just now finding their place in life and realizing that something's missing, something's broken, I need to get it fixed. And that's what you alluded to, Mr. Garner. So
Thank you.
one of the things that I want to shift gears here with regards to this whole month being National Mentorship Month, one of the things Chosen Pen has committed to is to dedicate much of the conversation this month on that topic. I had the privilege of being able to facilitate a project of a book that was given to me 15 years ago, and now it's just come to fruition this year. And Mr. Garner, Mr. Fields, and Mr. Wissett are co-authors in this book, the title of which is the Titus 2 Principle: Reach, Teach, Lead. Now, for those of you who share our Christian faith, you're familiar with the Titus 2, the scripture that makes reference to the older teaching the younger. It's the older men teaching the younger men, the older women teaching the younger women, and also living a life of leadership, as you referenced, Mr. Garner, to lead by example. So when we think about this particular project that became an Amazon bestseller, by the way, and it's not even out, but it's already an Amazon bestseller. So we talked about sharing your stories. Now, I don't want you all to go into a whole lot of conversation about this because we want them to buy the book, right? But I would like for the audience to know that in facilitating this project, one of the things I ask is that they either share a story of how mentorship made a difference in their lives, or either how they have had the privilege of being a mentor and made a difference in other people's lives. And so they shared their stories from a place of authenticity and at the level of transparency that they felt comfortable with. Now, without going into all of the meat and potatoes of your story, if you would, gentlemen, share with us the scope, I guess you could say, of what your story covers. So, Coach Nate, let's start with you.
All right. Well, just the scope of my story, in brief focus, is basically dealing with that level of family and work-life balance. Because sometimes we can get so top heavy, and we're over here doing all of this work out in the field, but we really start missing it at home. And for those of you who may have a spouse or significant other, children, when it all boils down to what's said and done, the only one who gonna notice that you did overtime and spent all this time away from home will be your spouse, your children, and those that are closest to you. So a lot of times you have to develop that balance and say, okay, I can do this and I can do that, but it can't be top heavy, or the scale can't tip too far to one side or the other, because something is going to go lacking. So in that regard, if something goes lacking, it has to be a 1 day lack. It can't be constantly lacking. You got to kind of balance it all out. So that's basically, you get the book, you'll get the whole gist of everything because it's in there.
Well, see, I appreciate your story. I appreciate your contribution to the book, because a lot of times, especially when if you're a single man and you don't have anybody to be responsible for but me, myself, and I, then that's a whole nother story. If you're have a wife, if you're dating heavy, or have a wife or have children, you can't be so engaged with saving the world. You can't be Captain Save a Lot to everybody else and the house goes lacking. So I thank you for the transparency of providing that information. I think there's a biblical scripture that makes reference to charity begins at home, or either there's a proverb that says charity begins at home. So even with being as engaged as you are, I know you have boys. So if you're working with other kids and you're never doing anything with your children, how that's a top heavy balance. That's not a good thing. You're right. You can miss it for a few hours on Saturday, but not 30 days, 365. Right. Thanks so much, Coach Nate. All right, Mr. Fields, let's talk about it. Tell us a snippet of what you shared.
Oh yeah, the brother man got some juicy here. Got some juicy for you. And the thing about it is that when we looking at mentorship, I wrote from a mentee perspective and not being the mentor. And I tell you, with just the name of it, I mean, God gave me this name, you all. That thing talked about lines and circles.
That was good too, Wendell. It was.
I tell you, I got up there and the Lord say, now see, when it comes down to it, the lines, they can either go up or they can go down. They can also go diagonal. But which way you gonna go, up or down? But then also, when you look at the lines connecting to circles, when an artist come in with that thing, they use lines and they use circles. Oh yeah, and when you put them all together, they make a nice picture of something coming forth like never before. And so in that, you make a picture that comes through in my part of the book, I'll say. And man, it opened up my eyes to a lot of values as well as it helped me to really get some clarity about how I want to go in life now. So it's really good. Lines and circles. Boy, that's the part. Yeah. I'll hush up because I start talking and then I get excited and then I want to share more and more and more. So I'm gonna hush now and give
And
it.
let them buy the book, right? Let them buy the book, right, Mr.
Right.
Ben?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Garner. Now, I think you talked about. Tell us the title of your chapter, your contribution, and just a little nugget of what you cover in your story.
Mine was Mentorship from New York, and we covered leadership and legacy. Um, we wanted to bring harmony to the situation because everybody talks about balance. God didn't make the world in balance; He made it in harmony. So I take a leadership position that we need to not only have good leadership, but how to lead so that you leave a legacy, and you have to do that in harmony. Because if it's not in harmony, it's not going to work at all. So I try to put the leadership and move it to the legacy and move both of those in harmony so that we're moving together as one.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That is good. And you really speak to kind of what Coach Nate was saying with regards to it being in a leadership position. You can be responsible for a lot as a leader. And some things is not really balanced, but I like the fact that you said it's harmony. Because at the end of the day, when we are no longer here, people will remember you for the impact that you made, whether that be good or bad. And so, of course,
Mm-hmm.
as those who want to make positive influences in our community, we know for a fact that we want to leave the legacy that lives beyond the grave. We want
That's
our
it.
name to be out there. And if you've got kids, it lives through that, but it also lives through the work that you commit to as well and the impact that you choose to make. Thank you, gentlemen, again for being a part of this book. I am really excited. At one time when I put the word out, all the women were, yes, I want to be a part of it. I'm like, I gotta have some men. Can I get just one man to be a part of the book? So thank you all for
I'm in.
volunteering. for
We can do this
volunteering.
again.
For volunteering. So on January 19th and 20th, we talked earlier about that being a Mentors Make Your Mark conference. And the 19th is going to be the official book signing. On the 20th, there's going to be a panel discussion, man exchange, and that's going to be more men on the stage, men that are local to Fayetteville that are going to be talking about the importance of a man's perspective, a man's presence in the family, in the community, in the church, and in various aspects as mentors. And Coach Al Short has the honor of being the moderator of this exchange. So, Coach Short, tell us, what do you hope and anticipate coming from this panel discussion that you're going to have?
Yes, thank you again. My main objective is that we can bring men together, and we can share concerns and ideas and share strategies, in resolutions of the way we can explore this pathway that we are journeying on now, because there is a big problem with our young men not having any type of plan for their lives, and life is just passing them by. We see them as kids, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 years old, and you blink your eyes and they're teenagers and not equipped with anything, any tools in their box to go out and live a full life. So hopefully that in sharing with great men like these who have their personal experience, their professional experience from various backgrounds, that we can give options and opportunities for change in the lives of these young people. And we will learn and grow in sharing in itself. That I've always thought that we all need to prepare ourselves to be able to fill the gap for each other in growing up in life. And with young people, as mentors and counselors, we all have to fill the gap for each other, and so that we can prompt young people to redeem their time. Because when you're young, you think, oh, I got time, I can mess around and this and that. And time, never fails. It catches up with us. And if you're not prepared for how it catches you, then you can't, as the gentleman speaks about legacy, we don't have anything to add to the legacy box, so to say. So hopefully it's about empowering and supporting not only children, but families. One thing I feel like if you empower a child, then even if he hasn't had anything with the family, then he may become the example that can make the change for his entire family. So I think we can help them develop skills, confidence, and the self-worth of building to succeed and overcome the obstacles of life and not give up.
That's real good. Thanks so much, Coach Short. I appreciate your feedback. I want to go ahead and just talk about the people, or just at least mention the names, the gentlemen who are currently that are going to be on the panel as a part of the panel discussion. Hopefully nothing changes. We have Mr. Andrea Waters that's going to be a part of the panel discussion. He's a local, I think he's a minister, but he's also an entrepreneur here in the city. There's also going to be Mr. Kelsey Battle, who is an entrepreneur. He has an amazing story. When you hear his story of how he overcame, and he's one of those statistics, I guess you could say. Technically, he shouldn't be where he is right now based on his environment, how he was reared, the things he was exposed to, even in graduating high school. His story is amazing. So he has a very powerful story. And then we have Mr. Malik Davis, who is a young man that was born and raised right here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and is now recently been elected to serve on the city council. So he's going to be newly elected, I should say, City Councilman Malik Davis. They're going to be on, he's going to bring a younger perspective, because if I remember correctly, Malik is definitely under 30. I think he is. So we have a great range there. They're going to be sharing. They're going to be providing their insight. They're going to bring a lot to the table. And again, you know, women always show up, but it's good when we have men represented. We need to see men and more men represented. And I'm hoping that everything that has happened by way of this book, and even what we anticipate to happen during the Mentors Make Your Mark event, that experience will generate more conversation, and not just conversation, because let's not talk things to death. You know, after you talk about it, it's really time to move out. But any last words about mentorship, the importance of mentorship, any wisdom tools? Mr. Short made reference to tools in your toolbox. Anything you all want to provide our audience? I want to say thank you again for saying yes to this opportunity. Dr. Norma extends her greetings. She's unable to be here, but she is watching. Trust and believe she is watching. So let's go in reverse order. Mr. Garner, any last thoughts, final thoughts, words of wisdom you want to leave regarding mentorship and the importance of the concept or principle?
If we can do from a leadership point of view, because my theme in my business has always been threefold. One, let's get people financially debt free. Change their legacy, lead them to Christ. Pretty simple. And I've said that from day one. And I'm hoping that we could get that across in this community that I'm in, where we can actually do that, because I've helped a bunch of people here already get debt free. And that's always been my goal, being that I left New York in debt, went in the Marine Corps in debt, and finally figured out, okay, you need to get rid of all the debt, period. So if we can do that part, that would be a great thing. If we can get more people debt free, change their legacy, and then lead them to Christ.
I love it. Thank you so much, Mr. Garner. All right, Mr. Fields, what about you? Last comments?
As I sit here and I listen to these men of wisdom and knowledge and understanding, you know, I'm the young buck in all of this, and the thing that I'm learning from them is it's all about still handing over skills and abilities to others so that they can grow and be creative with it. You know, we my generation, we weren't taught necessarily to communicate well. We did everything through action. But yet this generation that is coming along, they're more expressive, and they're more verbal. But yet they're not comprehending on when to be quiet. You know, but yet when we come together, they teach us how to be expressive. But when we come together, it makes a beautiful connection, and we're helping one another out because it is about legacy. It is about continuing something that has been laid down for generations and that's testable. And that's what I want to leave. Let's get this thing together. Let's work together because we're people that were fading out, and especially men that fading out quicker than women. So it's something to learn from the women. So it's all about coming together, making that thing happen. Oh yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Fields. I appreciate your feedback. All right, Coach Wissett, the same question for you. Final thoughts. Oh no, I think he's had tech. Okay, we'll
Yeah,
come back.
I just wanted to.
Go ahead. I think his Wi-Fi is technology just won't let you be great when you want to be. We'll come back to you, Coach Nate. Coach Short, final thoughts
Of
and comments.
setting an atmosphere through.
Oh,
Is he still the? Yeah.
he's coming and going. He's coming in and out. I'm gonna mute him just in case. All right, go ahead, Mr. Coach Short. Go ahead.
First, I want to thank all the gentlemen for sharing, and it really, you have ignited my fire with just this short conversation. But one thing about mentoring and trying to be a positive impact on young people, and as you speak, you say we can help them find their identity, and then we can lead them to things that they can set principles and values on. One thing I've noted throughout my life and at the age I am now is that when animals are in the wild and it seems they're becoming extinct, we say they're endangered species. And what man will do, we will then take those animals and we put them in shelter and secure them so that it can regenerate. That's what we have to do with our young people. They're becoming an endangered species because of different things where they're destroying themselves. And if we don't step in as adults and parents and as mentors and leaders, then the blood is on our hands as well.
Yes.
So we do have to come together and collaborate. And as Mr. Nate said, create that atmosphere and environment where they can have strong, healthy bonds with their families and the community where we make a difference and a positive impact.
That's great. Thank you so much, Coach Short. Coach Nate, you had some technical issues. I'm glad to see you back. Your final thoughts, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in and out, but basically just leaving the thought of letting your legacy be a legacy of yay and nay. People, they not only, when you look at people, they see you, that a lot of times they can't hear what you're saying from seeing what you're doing. So when people are able to see that what you say is lining up with what you do, your yay is yay and your nay is nay, then it's just a clear picture. It's no fuzziness. It's no breaking up like this internet type stuff when it's not out working properly. Your stuff is clear. They like, oh man, this is clear as it gets because what you saying is what you doing, and that is to be appreciated. So once again, those are the thoughts I just want to leave with everyone.
Thank you
Let
so
it
much,
line
Coach.
up.
Thank you so much, Coach Nate. Everything that you all have conveyed parallels to the book, Titus 2 principle. Yes, I'm going to plug it again. The Titus 2 principle: reach, teach, and lead. And so your yay will be your yay and nay will be easily identifiable if you are truly operating as a leader that Mr. Garner made reference to, and creating the environments to reach them and then providing them the tools that they need so they can leave a legacy, a positive legacy for their families and their communities. Thank you, gentlemen, again so very much for being with us. And for those of you who are watching, remember all of this month, for all of the shows that we have, the podcast, Conversations with Chosen Pen, are going to focus on the important principle of mentorship. This is National Mentorship Month. Mentors, it's time to make your mark, just as these gentlemen have already conveyed. We really appreciate you being with us. And if you choose to be a part of our January 19th and 20th experience, register today. Follow us on Chosen Pen. on Facebook. The information for registration is there and it's here on the screen as well. Gentlemen, thank you again for your time. Thank you for being here with me. We look forward to seeing you all on the 19th. And if not, we appreciate everything you do in your local community to make a difference. Have a great
Thank
day,
you, sir.
everybody.